You think you know what a train can do? Thousands of tons of steel, full speed, no way to stop. What you're about to see isn't CGI. It isn't Hollywood. It's real footage from real cameras of things that actually happened. Welcome to Unreal Accidents. The tracks were clear a minute ago, then everything changed.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Steel on steel. There's no soft landing in a moment like that. The train crew saw this coming. There was nothing left to do but brace. That's several hundred tons moving at full speed. Nothing stops that. Stopping on the tracks is never a good idea.
Slows down. That's gotta hurt.
One second of hesitation on the tracks, that's genuinely all it took.
Holy oh
The damage looks bad on camera. In person, it was apparently far worse. Watch the front of the train. It doesn't even flinch on impact. The train never stops, even if it could. That derailment started with a single wheel leaving the rail, just one. The moment that train left the tracks, everyone within a mile radius knew something had gone seriously wrong. Rail crossings have warning systems for a reason. Gates, lights, sirens, and somehow it still wasn't enough. That locomotive weighed more than 200 fully loaded trucks, and it moved like I knew it. Luckily, all the passengers were safe. This guy stopped just in time. The crew had seconds to react. In the end, not even that was enough to change the outcome. The white car was really lucky. Footage like this ends up in rail safety training programs around the world, not to scare people, but because nothing explains the consequences of a split-second decision on the tracks better than watching exactly what happens when that decision goes wrong. That crossing had seen thousands of trains pass without incident. This one only needed to go wrong once. Speed wasn't even the factor here. Sometimes the rails just run out of options before the train does. You can see the exact frame where the driver realizes they're not going to make it across in time. No one was hurt. That concrete truck never stood a chance. Cleanup crews worked through the night after this. By morning, you'd barely know it happened except for the twisted metal. Look at the man jumping out safely at the end. This is not a safe place to be turning around. The warning lights were working perfectly, the barriers came down on time, and it still ended like this. The engineer applied the emergency brakes at full force. The stopping distance required was 3 times what they had.
Crazy, man. It just happened weeks ago. It's crazy, man.
This is not a good place to lose control over the car. Luckily, nobody was hurt. That locomotive had logged over 2 million miles of service before this day. 2 million miles, and it only took one bad stretch of track to end it. That crossing sees dozens of trains every single day. Residents had walked across it their entire lives. And then one morning, everything they thought they knew about was wrong. Luckily, nobody was hurt. The train operator later said in their statement that they did everything by the book. Applied the brakes, sounded the horn, followed every protocol, and watched it happen anyway. The barrier was actually up, and the car was already on the tracks. What followed was inevitable, and the train crew knew it before anyone else did. Luckily, the driver was not hurt. The driver of this truck did a smart move and got out of the truck.
Alhasil, langsung ditemper sama lokomotif CC206.
Imagine looking out the window while driving and seeing a cargo train derailing.
열차가 달려와 건널목에 서 있는 승합차를 들이받습니다. 차량 앞자리에 탄 2명이 충돌 직전 가까스로 몸을 피합니다.
서울 지하철 1호선 석수역과 금천구청역 사이를 잇는 위험천만한 상황이 펼쳐집니다.
These people were lucky enough to get out of the way before the train hit.
사람들이 황급히 대피하는 사이
平交道栅栏放下来，一辆轿车自顾自开上平交道，被开过来的区间车拦腰撞上，还被挤出。
Luckily for the driver, this high-speed train only scratched the back of his car. Another high-speed train without brakes. The train was traveling at over 70 miles per hour when it made contact with that vehicle. At that speed, the impact lasts less than a tenth of a second. The damage lasts considerably longer. The driver later told investigators they didn't see the train coming. Looking at this footage, that is genuinely very hard to understand. The crossing had no barriers, no automated gates, just a sign and the assumption that people would stop. This footage is exactly why that assumption is no longer acceptable. That pickup truck was airborne for almost 2 full seconds after the initial impact. 2 seconds of footage that became the most watched clip from this incident by a significant margin. The cargo on that train was still being recovered 3 days after this footage was taken.
टक्कर के बाद 100 मीटर से ज्यादा दूर तक गाड़ी खिसकती चली गई। किसी तरह
This man was lucky to get off of his car just in time. That particular crossing had recorded 11 near misses in the 18 months before this footage was taken. This time, there was no near about it. Another close call. Maybe the driver learned not to park his car that close to the rails. And that's why you never underestimate the rails. Every one of those moments was real. Real people, real cameras, real consequences. If any of those clips hit different, drop it in the comments. And if you're new here, you already know what this channel is about. Hit subscribe because the next one is even more unreal.